Jazzcast Pros.
Welcome to part 2 of Owen's healing.
Hi, we're back.
And if you haven't listened to part 1, scoot on back and listen to that first, because otherwise this one won't make a lot of sense.
No, do yourself a favor too. It's awesome. And there's lots in it. Yeah, I've been excited for part 2 to come out. So this is awesome.
Yeah, and Owen's a really, really interesting person to have a listen to and a chat to. So yeah, enjoy.
See you on the other side.
Welcome to The Spiritual Shortcut, the podcast to help you realize that you are in fact your own healer and that you can learn to release the invisible anchors that might have been holding you back. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Kristy.
And we'll be your guides on this journey.
For over 2 decades collectively, and honestly, probably quite a few lifetimes, we've used our deep intuitive connection and shamanic practices to help people just like you.
So that disconnect between the child, teenager, adult, there is definitely parts where I guess I've learnt with the teenager to go, those are just, we're going to have to control those urges. Those are not ones that we can just run, because crazy teenage boys can be crazy teenage boys. But sitting there and allowing the little child to be safe and come out and to communicate with that aspect of my inner self is not something that I've done a lot of well.
No, okay. And what I'm getting a lot of as you're talking that's coming in is just rage, blinding rage. It's unfair. I shouldn't have to do this. This is not what I signed up for. It's breaking the contracts. It's like you're on the precipice, right? Because all of these contracts that you know about want to be broken, right? And then it's like these other contracts that you didn't even know existed want to drop in. Amanda, this is another thing we're seeing a lot of. When you know that there's more, but you're not seeing it play out in your life, effectively what it's going to do is push you to the point of being really bloody pissed off about it, right? Because there's this feeling of my life is not in alignment.
And you have an obligation subconsciously to these contracts that are in place. You know, like, we are good people who want to work with integrity and live our lives with integrity. So an integral person doesn't go around breaking contracts. You know, they fulfill them. So subconsciously, you don't even know there's a contract there. So consciously, your brain's going, for fuck's sake, get out of bed. Go and do the things. What's wrong with you? Oh my God, you're lazy and you're this and you're that. And you know, whereas the subconsciously is like, but, you know, there's push and pull and flipping over of these different emotions and motivations. And in the end, you just fall in a heap because like there's so much energy being used in those processes as you go through them every single day.
Yeah. I think, right, if we take your little boy, put him next to you, you can make sure he's happy and comfortable. And Amanda, I think if you start at that higher level, right, starting to break what's there, then naturally we will kind of end up at a point where we can start putting words around the energy that's coming in to call it in fully.
Okay, so Owen, I'll start and you can just repeat after me if it resonates with you.
Just check on that little boy though first before we do this, because the other side of this is you've got that high heart that's ready to open up. That heart is full. It's ready to birth this new energy center. But again, there's nowhere for it to go, no place for it to, or no container for it to fill out. So like this is all really big stuff. So we want to go in and check on little Owen first, I think, and make sure maybe give him something to kind of distract him, check in with him, see what his favorite toy is. It might be a truck or some coloring in or something.
It's kind of symbolic. I'm actually sitting in my little boy's room.
Yeah.
And so, just sort of setting up, I guess, a little environment for the inner child to play in within this room is quite easy.
Yeah.
And, sitting there with my little boy, this is where I'm sitting on the bed. So this is where I'll give him a hug at night.
Yep.
So it's a very nice little place for him to chill with.
Absolutely. And also symbolic of the fact that you're doing this for yourself, but in turn for the lineage, right? That comes after you goes in front of you, making sure that, this congestion doesn't go any further. It's like the buck stops here, guys. Sorry. Please and thank you, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's it. Like huge amounts of responsibility, but we're only given what we can manage. We've just got to figure out how to manage it.
Yeah.
And that we are here managing it. Sometimes it's like, what? I didn't even know this was a thing. So that helps. It's all about clarity again.
No, definitely.
All right. Are we ready? Cool. I dissolve, break, and uncreate.
Dissolve, break, and uncreate.
Any and all contracts.
Any and all contracts.
That have been written.
That have been written.
Without my consent.
Without my consent.
Without my knowledge even.
Without my knowledge even.
By other people.
By other people.
Anything I may have inherited without my knowledge.
Anything I may have inherited without my knowledge.
And anything that I was born into and have been acting out in this lifetime.
Anything I've been born into and have been acting out in this lifetime.
By creating this space.
Creating this space.
I call into me now.
I call into me now.
All of my divine blueprint contracts.
All of my divine blueprint contracts.
That I have agreed to and signed prior to this lifetime.
That I have agreed to and signed prior to this lifetime.
It's safe now to surrender fully.
Safe now to surrender fully.
I am safe.
I am safe.
I fully surrender.
I fully surrender.
Just hang tight. I just want to tune in here. I am my own man.
I am my own man.
I am not my father.
I am my father.
I'm not my lineage.
Not my lineage.
And I stand here within my sovereignty.
I stand here within my sovereignty.
Beautiful. That's it. Cool. Big shift. Big shift. So just breathing into that, Owen. It's safe now to be in my power.
It's safe now to be in my power.
It's safe now to be in my sovereignty.
It is safe now to be in my sovereignty.
Just giving that a moment. High heart starting to open up. So I release all doubt.
I release all doubt.
I release all self-doubt.
I release all self-doubt.
And believe it or not, it's actually doubt of being a worthy father. So that this is worth going into, right? So it's a different kind of parenting. And that's not throwing shade on anyone's parents. They just didn't have the toolkit. They did what they did because that's what they knew. So now it's like, especially you've got all this new energy coming in. Amanda, this is where we need to go. It's like a confidence that needs to come in about Owen's parenting, being a father, being a role model, that it's safe to do that now. Can you get a sense of that, Amanda?
Yeah, because if you're growing up with these different dynamics that you were talking about before, where you're in a teen, you're literally in the past when you were a teenager, you were wishing you could behave a different way. Then subconsciously what gets carried through is this undertone of, if I was brought up wrongly, you've got to make a decision subconsciously. Am I a bad person or are my parents bad parents? It's very simplistic language. It's bad or good, but it's this kind of interplay where it is that dualism. And, your brain kind of goes, it's either good or bad. It's either dark or light. One thing, implies the other kind of thing. So, I don't feel like I'm a good person. So that means my parents did a good job. I did it wrong. So therefore, I feel the need to parent differently oh, hang on, this is wrong then, isn't it? Because my parents did it differently. My father was a different type of father than I want to be. So you need to settle that within yourself so that you can move forward and know that you're worthy of trusting what you believe is the right way to be a father. Does that resonate?
Yeah, it does. I got a blended family with stepkids and my kids, and there's always, am I being a good kid to stepgirls? They're girls. I didn't grow up around any girls. I have one girl cousin on one side of the family where all the masculine energy was.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, there's often, and now I've got my boy, and then we've just had a little girl. She's 6 weeks old, and it's like, how do you parent a girl at this age? Like, what does it look like to be a parent to girls?
Yeah, and this is what I'm picking up on.
So yeah, that's certainly something that's been on the front of my mind and thinking about what that's like. Because yeah, I've had thoughts about what it would be like if there was females in our family higher up.
It's like contracts wanting to drop in for, I want to say, power in the knowing. And it's actually just, again, coming back to what you just said, Amanda, it's coming back to the understanding that, the past was not good or bad, it just was.
And by the same token, the present and who you are today is okay. So, okay, I want you to say, it is safe for me to trust who I know I am.
It is safe for me to trust who I know that I am.
It is safe for me to trust who I know I am.
It is safe for me to trust who I know I am.
Mm-hmm. Little unlock. This is the knowing that God is not outside of you. So it's ready, like the space is there ready to contain it. So it's just about unlocking whatever it is that's holding it back. So if we just check around that, and again, it's lineage stuff, past stuff. This is past life stuff, actually, and religion. Again, you've come from this rigid container where it looked a certain way, it was a certain way. We are going to someone else, to God, and it's like, now you're going to take the middleman out and realize that that connection is accessible for you every day, because that you are the connection.
That's really super fascinating. So there's a prayer of the Apostle Paul in one of his letters to the churches, and his prayer was that they may know the fullness of the God that dwells within them.
Yep.
And so I used to pray a lot of those prayers. Like I used to pull them all apart and use it in weekly practices. But anyway, the key thing is that's probably one of the biggest shifts that's happened, is being aware of the divine within me at a far deeper level. It's all taught within Christianity. It's nothing that's anything new, but the actual understanding and practical outcome of that's very different.
Yeah, so this is the embodied level, right? So it's one thing to know something, but then it's another thing to embody that knowing. And this is what then the guides are showing me you want to pass down to your lineage.
I know that my essence is a spark of the divine.
Yeah, I know that my essence is a spark of the divine.
I know that my existence here is a reflection of God.
I know that my existence here is a reflection of God.
And it is beautiful.
And it is beautiful.
And I am beautiful.
And I am beautiful.
Beautiful. That's it. That was the key word. Awesome. So lots unlocking, really in that heart space, but also down lower in that solar plexus area. So just lots and lots of old habits, old past lives, old programming, old conditioning, all just like loosening up and shifting. The guides coming in and doing a big clearing on the front of you at that belly space, Owen.
It's a number of I am statements that I use regularly.
Yep.
And I guess I just want to speak that those are being rooted in well.
You're welcome to speak them now if you want to.
Yeah. I am wisdom. I am peace. I am love. I am kindness. I am beauty. I am joy. Self-sacrificing.
The layers falling off there. And what's opening up is this little tiny speck of resentment for the journey, right? So Amanda and I often use the snail as a really good analogy. Do you want to speak to that, Amanda?
Well, it's not just that the snail is slow. Have you ever seen a snail trail? Doesn't it go like this?
I've got a heap of them in this place.
Yeah.
Didn't have them up in sunny Queensland, but in this cold winter in New South Wales, there is more of it here.
And
So
it's like, what were you doing, mate?
Yeah.
Slowly random circles. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's that, right, Amanda? It's that you are those things, but so is the journey, right?
Yeah.
So some statements around that would be really positive.
So it's that recognition that we're not just about the destination. You know, we're not here just to go back up to our true selves. We're here for the experience. And you can't have an experience without experiencing the stuff, right? What is experience? It's doing it and experiencing it, being in it, embodying it, allowing it to go through your body, allowing yourself to feel the emotions, you know, and if we have lessons to learn, then we need to learn them. If we don't learn them, we just go through the next situation that teaches us the same lesson over and over again.
So lots and lots of divine cycles wanting to open up, but just this little bit of resentment that we need to unlock to let them and give them that space to fill.
Oh, and I allow myself to feel gratitude for the journey.
Allow myself to feel gratitude for the journey.
I imagine that when we get back into our soul pods, we all sit around telling great stories about all the weird shit we did.
I imagine it that we get off the VR headset, sit back and go, holy shit, that was a fun game. And then we're all sitting there and we're all like nurses and medical health practitioners going, yeah, shit, that person's struggled with that mental health. What a walk that was. Now at least I can relate to them.
Yeah.
That's it. What a ride.
Yeah, more than we realized.
And it's also about letting go of the ideas of what you think your life should look like, right? And just allowing yourself to surrender to the actual journey, because your higher self has got it covered. So let's open it up, right? Let's open it up at a level that you haven't been to yet. Yeah. So again, Amanda, it's like knowing that it was all worthwhile, knowing that every twist and turn was where you were meant to go, Owen. You know, grateful for being in the moment, grateful for being present in, you know, the adventures and what do they call it? It's not a side hustle, like what's the word I'm looking for? You know, when you're like, I'm just going out to get milk, but then you run into a friend and it's like all of a sudden you're going for a coffee and having a laugh about something. You never imagined that you were going to do that, you know? Those little adventures along the side. Yeah, that sort of energy. So it's side quest, that's the word I'm looking for. Side quest, that's it. Yeah. I saw you, Amanda, just being like, what is she saying? Yeah. So in releasing the resentment, right, that's the thing, the resistance that's keeping it all out. So if we can step into gratitude for the journey and gratitude for the other people in the journey, you know, all those hard times were merely, you know, other souls reflecting back lessons to you. So we need to go down that part. It's all ready to drop in. It's right there.
And it's not just that. It's also like when Kristy and I say this to each other a lot when we get a bit stuck with something. If you truly believed and remembered who we are, that we are eternal beings, would you be worried about that gas bill or that, you know, you got to buy new tires for the car or whatever it is? No.
Definitely shifts your perspective. Definitely shifts your perspective. Yeah.
And Amanda and I refer to that as having the false floor ripped out from underneath you, right? You think you're stable and then you do the thing and you get the new job and you think I'm going to, you know, go and buy a new car, and then all of a sudden everything comes crashing down. And so then all the emotion comes up and you have to fossick through all the emotion. And then on the other side of it, you're like, well, I didn't like that job. that car I was looking at buying was actually really expensive. And then, you walk around the corner, near the coffee shop, and all of a sudden come across the dream car at the perfect price. It's like, that rug from being pulled out underneath you, but is actually a really good thing. And as you're talking, this is shifting through all of these like chapters, I want to say, of this story that I'm watching play out energetically. And the phrase, I am grateful for my soul print, keeps like being thrown at me. So let's dial it up to gratitude at that subconscious level, super subconscious level, right? So can you just say that for me? I am grateful. I am eternally grateful for my soul's print.
I'm eternally grateful for my soul's print.
Beautiful. That's it.
Looking for a smarter way to reach your ideal customers? Talk to them while they're already tuned in. At Jazzcast Pros, we connect brands like yours with engaged, growth-minded listeners who actually want what you offer. Our audience is made up of entrepreneurs, decision makers, and change makers, the exact people who invest in their future. With targeted ad placements and authentic storytelling, we make sure your brand gets heard and remembered. Let's get your message in the right ears. Visit jazzcastpros.com/advertise today. Your voice deserves to be heard. At Jazzcast Pros, we make it happen. As a premier audio production company and certified MWBE, we handle everything from concept to distribution, so you can focus on sharing your impactful message. Whether you're a business owner, thought leader, or change maker, we remove the technical and creative barriers holding you back. It's time to unbox that mic and finally launch your podcast. Visit jazzcastpros.com and let's build something great together.
That was such a great session.
It was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, really. And I really love talking to him. He has a great perspective on his journey in general. And yeah, I love hearing what he has to say. That whole concept of stopping outsourcing God, I just love.
It's awesome, isn't it? And you're right. He's a man that's done a lot of work on himself and is particularly articulate and really good at framing things in a way that is easy to understand.
Yeah.
And especially thinking about his journey as a pastor and then the decision to leave the church and, like you just said, no longer outsourcing God, like that understanding that has dropped in for him about the fact that it's actually within him and he is that.
Right. That's it. And it's interesting because he would have gleaned that knowledge and that understanding from his journey as a pastor. And, ultimately that role is to represent Christ and Christ's teachings, which ultimately is, you are your own God. God is within you. And you can do it for yourself. And, he's like recognized that so many people, so many religions are all about outsourcing that, that sovereignty that we talk so much about.
Yeah. And brings us to what we also discussed about becoming the core foundation of your own life.
Yeah. So important. Like, I think it's what life is all about.
Yeah, and knowing the work that you and I have done separately and together, when I look back personally for me, the foundation was always rocky. And in my mind it was someone else's job to fill that, whether it was a partner or, a framework or some sort of container. And
reflooring, like there's holes in the floorboards, you've fallen through them, tripping over.
Yeah, but not my fault. Not my fault. Someone else did that, we'll blame someone else. And
100%.
it has been that breaking down of those structures and ideas and subconscious tapes for me to realize that it's all me. I'm the floor, I'm the ceiling, I'm the walls, I am God, I'm everything inside it. Do you know what I mean? So, and then getting to this point where I can look back and, and it's it's a long journey, and I look forward to what comes next, but seeing what has already been accomplished, it's like, it's incredible, you know, just that, because we live in a world that is programmed for separation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we come in and learn a certain way and then have to reparent and unlearn everything to do things in what feels like a very opposing fashion. It can be very confusing.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Well, it's actually not, because what's interesting about that is, what is our intuition? Our intuition is actually counter-indoctrination.
Oh, what? Hang on. Say that again for me.
It's not counterintuitive to stop thinking the way that you've been programmed and indoctrinated to think. It's actually intuitive. So the expression is incorrect when you break it down.
Has been upended, right?
It's been inverted.
Hey, there we go.
Yep.
Another one. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah, wow. I'm going to think about that when we get off here. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So it's just another expression about, oh, well, you know, when you think for yourself, it's counterintuitive. What?
Yeah, so we essentially come in, become who we are not, then have to break it all down or surrender, which is a more feminine way of saying it, to become who we really are, right? And we did cover a bit of that in that session.
Yeah, very much. And you can see within him that that's what his journey, his self-seeking journey, has been all about. And basically, in a lot of ways, is what all of our self-seeking journeys are about.
Yeah, totally.
Getting back to self, getting back to what our true self is. Capital S self is from source.
Yeah, so interesting, isn't it? Did anything else strike a real chord with you?
No, I felt like that was really the overarching theme. There was a lot of, you know, the discussion around reparenting self, recognizing his capacity for reparenting self through the experience that he has had by parenting others, as you know, his children and stepchildren. So
yeah. And there's a lot of that comes up in our sessions with clients, isn't there?
Yeah.
A lot
Definitely.
of reparenting, yeah. And
absolutely. And I see my whole journey as a counselor, therapist, healer, all the different modalities that I've followed. There's an aspect of reparenting self in every single one of them.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's really like true, isn't it? Because it's, I mean, any good counselor, any coach always knows that it's a reciprocal kind of energy. Like, you know, like I know every time I sit down with a client, that client gets what they need from me. And more often than not, I'll hit the leave button on the meeting and I will have a big bucket of work to do for myself because they've presented stuff for me. You know, obviously we don't do it in the session, but it's like it is a very dynamic space when you sit down with a client, and that's life. Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. But I also want to point out, because I've heard a lot of people speak to this, it's a problem if you're sitting in front of a client and saying things like, oh, what my clients need to deal with is something I need to deal with, then that's a problem. You're not far enough along your journey to be sitting in front of clients. And I disagree wholeheartedly with that, because certainly when I speak to that, I'm talking about a deeper layer of the same thing. And if growth is a spiral process, then maybe your client is, you know, down here and you are doing the same thing and you're revisiting up here.
And I also want to say that if shamanically, if everything and everyone is a reflection of the self, that client is also a reflection of the self, maybe a past self, maybe one that hasn't dropped in yet. Yeah. And amazing, isn't it? And even I will say, doing my teaching degree, they talk about this as well, about the teacher that stands at the front of the classroom with 30 children, about having that back and forth, and about it's almost like co-leading the classroom from a space of balance and that word that I can't say, equanimity. What's the word?
Equanimity.
That's the one. I think of a seesaw being in balance, and like remembering that the children aren't above or below you and you're not above or below the children. It's actually this really beautiful, fair playing field for everyone, where everybody has a place to be heard and everybody adds to the education, growth and learning and knowledge in the classroom. And I think it's very much how, it is when you and I both sit with a client too. It's, reflecting on what we just said. It's that back and forth in the space.
Yeah, that's right. And it's also a super feminine way of, it's like that, it's being in circle. Everyone is equal and has a contribution to make.
Mm. And do you find too, just listening to the podcast back, like I get a lot out of that when I do, obviously we have a draft that we listen to before our producer puts it out, but that final edit for me, that's a couple of hours of processing for me. There's always something that comes up where I'm like, I didn't hear it like that before. I didn't see it like that, or I didn't see it reflected in my life, or because sometimes between recording and it coming out is months for you and I. So it's interesting to hear it from that different perspective,
Yeah, that's right.
Recording for the future self in the present moment. I love it.
Yeah, that's cool.
So cool. Anyway, so that was Owen.
Yeah, that was Owen. So the website's still being built, but we have the newbie one is being built. So we've got the magicmudcacao.com is live, which is great. We're on Instagram. We're in Facebook land.
And just so the listeners know, we're going through a real slimming down of everything that we're doing and putting it all under that banner of Magic Mud Cacao. So if you just look that up on any platform, you'll find us.
That's right. Yeah. And look out for a post, this week actually, where we're going to be getting people to connect because we're creating a monthly membership.
Woohoo! Do we get to tell people what the name is?
If you like. Unless we change it between now and then.
Anything is possible.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to the latest episode of The Spiritual Shortcut.
We'll be back on the first and third Sunday of each month to unpack, demystify, and occasionally make fun of all things spiritual.
Starting with ourselves.
Of course.
Don't forget, those life blocks you've been tripping over are just poorly disguised stepping stones.
We'll support you to laugh, leap, and maybe even do a little victory dance over them. See you soon.
You've done the work to survive. Now it's time to heal and lead. Healing Her Within is your space to break cycles, reclaim your voice, and rise in your power. Through tools like breathwork, inner child healing, energy work, and mindset shifts, we help you unlock the woman you were always meant to be. Listen and subscribe on the Jazzcast Pros Network right here on the platform that you're listening to, because your healing isn't optional. It's your next level.
So you're having a baby. Congratulations. While it's a joyous occasion, this life-defining moment brings with it anxiety, especially when it comes to all the stuff you need. In this episode, I'm sharing real talk tips on making space for the newest member of your family before they arrive. Subscribe to Declutter Empress Radio on the Jazzcast Pros Network. New episodes every last Tuesday of the month.